Let's talk about the breeding season, and that is coming up, and that's a really fun time to get to be able to watch the birds in their mating and that sort of thing. And we're looking at a picture of two bluebirds at a nesting box. This is actually
Oh
our
yeah,
March calendar picture, which shows like mom and dad at the nesting box, and boy, do they get busy during the spring.
they're already busy here and probably a little further north that they're just starting this process of going in and out of boxes, looking at the territory. If they've used that box last year, they'll come back and check it out. Therefore, we'll talk about cleaning again one more time. If you haven't already, make sure you've got that box cleaned out and ready to go for this year. And be very careful not to start throwing out a nest they just built. But throw out an old nest, make sure there's no parasites in there, clean the box and close it back up, get it ready for them. But you will get to watch this. You'll get to watch them build a nest. You'll see them coming, going, spending a lot of time around the nest. And if you're careful, you can monitor nest boxes while the birds are in there. Just make sure you shoo out the female and don't run up and startle them real quick. Just tap on the box lightly to see if they'll fly out. Open it very slowly to see if there's one in there. If there's, of course, a female in there, possibly sitting on it, you just close it back slowly and walk away. But you won't really hurt the birds to check them every now and then. The ones that we put out a box for, a nest box, are ones we get to partake more of that process. It's nice you get the robins out in the trees. They're building nests. A lot of the other birds just build nests in different places in bushes and trees. And it's like, yeah, there they are. They're mating. They're having young, but it's not as close and personal and observable as when you put the birdhouse out in the yard and you have birds coming in and out of it. It's like some housing you provided for them. And let me talk about the word birdhouse. Really, a much better term is nesting box because birds don't live in birdhouses. They simply use them as a place to hide their eggs and incubate, hatch, raise their young to get them out of the box to go out into the world. But they don't really live there. That being said, on cold winter nights, sometimes, especially like bluebirds and some of these strong cavity nesters, will go back in there and pile up on each other to stay warm. But they typically don't live in the boxes. And I've got a box here. There's a lot of different bird houses, nesting boxes out there, but there's several features that make them really better for the birds. Uh, First of all, material. Wood and cedar is a good material. It's lightweight. It is pretty much impervious to the weather, and it has good insulating abilities. With a really hot sun, it doesn't penetrate so badly. Yet the box stays nice and warm, and that's what these guys like. Most of these birds' body temperature is about 104 degrees normally, so they can take the heat, and they need the heat when they're raising their young. That brings in another question. Do you want the box to get too hot? No. So you ventilate it. And if you'll look at the bottom of a lot of boxes, you'll see the corners nipped out. So not much falls through there, but it allows air to come in from the bottom. Also, air can come into the ventilation, to the entry hole, and it can go out. Some houses will have vents here on the side or up under the roof. So the hot air can move through and out. And that's a good way to have it. The size of a nest box is important. It's recommended for, say, bluebirds, 4 inch by 4 inch inside square, about 6 to 10 inches deep down from the hole. 8 inches is probably normal. And that gives the bird plenty of room to hop in, get down, build a nest, and also plenty of room for them to be down low enough so when a raccoon or another predator comes in and reaches their hand in, they can't reach the birds. And that's important. So a box is too short, puts them too close to the top. Another reason for cleaning out your nest box each year so they don't come in and build a nest on top of the old nest, put them and their young and their eggs close to the hole. You might not be able to see it, but this has a metal ring in here, copper ring. That's just to stop squirrels from chewing the hole out bigger. Nice thing. Some people sell the little square wooden blocks that bolt over the hole to give them protection from somebody reaching in and down to grab something. The best protection for your birds is to have your nest box mounted on a pole about 5 feet high in an open area for bluebirds. And best would put a squirrel baffle on the pole so they can't climb up and get into it, squirrels or raccoons. Tough Bird Feeder Guard, one of the products we came up with, is a little electronic device that fits on poles and stops snakes and raccoons from climbing up to get to the box. And it'll give them a little mild electric shock to stop them. But a good squirrel baffle or something under the box on a pole is a great way to mount these things. And there are other materials you can see, and you'll see I've got 2 boxes in the yard that are actually made out of a concrete formulation. They're basically cement. They're really heavy, but they're nice, and they do the same thing as the wooden box. They insulate and protect. So make sure you have a good nest box out there and mount it properly, and you'll have a good season.
Richard, we do have a question. Stacy Kunzer Green asked, does it matter if the box is in sun or shade? What a great question.
That is a good question. I should have mentioned that. It does matter. How much, I don't really know. It's recommended that, especially for bluebirds, that they be out in an open sun location, not in the woods or not in the backyard under the shade trees. And that's a good place for them to be, because that's where the bluebirds want to be. They'll sit on the top of the nest box and patrol or scout their territory for insects. They'll fly down and hit it on the ground and come back to the nest box. So it provides 2 things for them: a perch to find food and a secure nesting place. And like that, if it's on a pole with a guard on it, they're going to be pretty safe from predators too. Put it wherever you can get a little bit of sun. Heavy shade probably won't be as effective, but I would never say that a bluebird is not going to take a nice nest box in almost full shade. I've seen that happen. So have several boxes and put them in different areas. That's the best way to assure you'll get chickadees, titmice, perhaps a nuthatch, and bluebirds. Just give them some choice. Hello, this is Richard Cole. I want to thank each of you for watching, and I want you to subscribe to our YouTube channel, and don't forget to share it.